Project Workbench.
Hello and welcome to another episode of On Location, the YouTube series where I take you to filming locations from some of my favorite TV shows and movies. Today we'll be taking a look at the recently aired first episode of the new show, Supergirl.
The first scene we're going to dissect takes place right after Kara's dropped off at the Danvers house, and we see her now grown up a few years later, walking on the streets of National City on her way to Catco. This, of course, was all filmed in downtown Los Angeles, where I happen to live, so a lot of this seemed really familiar to me just watching it. A couple of the locations did take a little bit of work, but I managed to find almost everything that takes place in this opening sequence, leading all the way up to this shot. Okay, let's start again and do this shot by shot. First, there's this shot, and unfortunately, this is the one shot in the entire sequence that I couldn't locate. So if you happen to know where this shot was filmed, please post in the comments section below and I'll update something on screen later. The next shot's a very nice pan and tilt that shows a very busy metropolis, and this is actually shot on the corner of Figueroa and 5th. This one took me a little bit of time to find, but I persevered, and it's right in that courtyard of Manufacturers Bank, which is right on the southwest corner of that intersection. Here's the little courtyard here. I'm shooting this from the corner. Let's take a look at that shot again. There it is, and here I set my camera up right there, which is the exact same angle. There it is, ta-da! No coffee shop, no superheroes. Bummer. All right, next we see her crossing the street, and she is actually crossing at Figueroa. This is actually some geographic continuity, which is a little odd for a TV show. And here's my shot of Figueroa. You can see that building on the far left matches up to the very last shot we saw in the last shot of Supergirl. And here's a little view looking down Figueroa from one of these sky crossings. Next shot we see, Kara is crossing a bridge, and we get a really nice view of downtown Los Angeles. And there's the bridge she's crossing over on the corner of 5th and Flower. That bridge actually links to the Bonaventure Hotel, which you can see in the upper left-hand side of the screen there. And here I am looking down on the bridge. That's the very one she crosses over. And I'm sort of panning down to give a full view. And this last shot here is actually a pretty close match to what we see on screen. Now the camera pans over and we actually end up looking at what is the Catco building, which turns out to be a Citibank building, also on the corner of Flower and 5th. This is actually on the northeast corner. This is a view from a different side. And the building, except for the logo on top, is almost unchanged completely. Here's a little pan of the downtown area from that bridge that she was crossing over in that opening shot. And here's a glamour tilt up to the top of that building. Later on, we arrive at Kara's apartment building, which is just a few blocks away at the southeast corner of 12th and Hope. Very little has changed from the actual apartment building, what we see on screen, except the for lease sign has been taken down. Here we can see the front entrance to the apartment building. And that's what it looks like from the outside. Finding this apartment was actually really interesting. From the show, you see a bunch of shots that look outside the window. I knew it was a practical location, and I recognized some of the buildings that you see outside of the window. Most of all, in this shot, you can see that's LA Live over in the back corner. That's actually the side of the JW Marriott Hotel, which we see right there. So based on that, I was able to triangulate the position of the apartment. Now I was getting a little stalkery here because I was trying to figure out which floor they were filming on. It looks like the first floor is some sort of industrial space, maybe like a sweatshop or something. Second floor, looking in those windows, it looks like there might be an apartment there. Third floor looks vacant. I'm not actually sure which floor they shoot on. I went back later when they were shooting and it looked like they had dressed out the first floor, but I can't say for certain. Check back for another video sometime and I'll let you know if I figure anything out. Another sequence that was shot in downtown LA is this one, where Kara comes out after a bad date to see the airplane that her sister is on about to crash. Too bad for your luck. Let's take a closer look at this scene shot by shot. Most of the filming took place right here on the intersection of Spring and 6th. Alright, starting out, she comes out of the bar and looks up. And that's matched to this shot where I'm looking west on 6th Street. You can see the Starbucks there on the left, those pillars on the right, and also the tall Aeon building in the background, which is the one Kara's X-ray vision goes straight through when we go into the airplane. We cut back to a shot of Kara taking her glasses off, and that was shot right here. This is not a restaurant. She did not come out of a restaurant. This is actually a little clothing boutique, and I think there's some sort of hair supply store. And here I take a brief moment to recreate that zoom-in shot, but my camera doesn't look through the plane. In the next sequence, Kara takes off down an alley where she, well, takes off her clothes and then literally takes off to go save the day. In a little bit of interesting geographical continuity, this alley is actually just around the corner from where they were shooting before. And you may have missed it, but there was just a quick hint on how I was able to find this alley. And it all hinges on this place, which is Clifton's Cafeteria in downtown LA. Clifton's happens to be on the corner of Broadway and 7th, and eagle-eyed observers will notice that when Kara was running down the alleyway, you could very briefly see the Clifton sign over on the right-hand side. That was the real giveaway, because honestly, there's 1,000,001 alleys in downtown Los Angeles, so without that Clifton sign over in the corner, I never would have found it. In this shot, I'm actually at the south end of the alley looking north, which is the wrong direction. Kara starts at the north and runs south. All right, with that little history lesson out of the way, let's start again from the top and work our way through this alley sequence. So there's the plane, there's the Starbucks, and we pan over to the right, and right over there, see that little neon sign of the girl roller skating? See that? There it is on the upper left of the screen as she enters the alley. And here is the alley itself. It's actually blocked off. It's gated shut, but I managed to squeeze my camera through a crack. So that's actually where a car runs down. Here's the reverse shot looking north up out of the alley. And there's that building, the PCS Metro sign on it. All right, then we see her running, blah, blah, blah. There's that Clifton sign over on the right. And here I am at the Clifton sign actually looking north. So there it is, the whole alley. The next noteworthy scene takes place on top of the Catco building where Kara reveals her powers to her coworker. The bummer is that sequence is not filmed on top of the Citibank building that serves as the exterior for Catco. My guess is that the skylines from the Citi building aren't as impressive, or maybe they weren't able to get permission to film there, or the rooftop didn't suit itself for the stunt work necessary for the scene. Either way, a little bit of Google Maps sleuthing revealed that this sequence was shot on top of this building, which is at 1055 West 7th Street. This picture was taken when I was near Kara's apartment location, and this was taken from Wilshire Boulevard at the 110 freeway looking south. If you look at this grab from Google Maps, you can see how the story eliminates the two sub-towers from the building, making the audience think that the rooftop we see in the show is the only rooftop. My guess is that the stunt woman falls off the main roof onto an airbag on the lower roof. Yay, movie magic. The bank robbery scene that we see in the costume making montage was all shot at the Warner Brothers backlot. That bank exterior has appeared in literally hundreds of movies and TV shows over the years, including Lois and Clark. If you ever have a chance to take the Warner Brothers VIP studio tour, you will probably see this location.
And that wraps it up for this episode of On Location. Now, before you go, I have a question for you, and I'd love for you to write your answer in the comments section below. Do you prefer a longer video where I cover 3 or 4 different locations for an episode, or would it make more sense for me to break it down into shorter videos where I cover 1 location per episode? Let me know what you think, and I'll do what I can. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you for the next one.